And my words are not just a physical word, it's a spirit world. Not just brought to you from a human government, but brought to you from a place from the Most High. And from the Eschaton, and from a world that you cannot understand. But you must. And if you do not understand how serious these times are and these things, you will be faced with an annihilation and a death that will be so horrific you can't imagine. When I died, when I was just 8.5 from a tonsil procedure, and I went down the tunnel of light, and I saw Yeshua HaMashiach, and he had a white gown on with a double-corded belt and a broad gold sash, gold trim on his edges and so on, and he could see he was olive-colored skin, had reddish hair, beard plucked out, broad shoulders, muscular. And he said, don't cross the little bridge that appeared across this clouded area, or the silver cord will break. And I said, why? He said, because you won't be able to return. And I knew instantly, it was almost like I always knew, but my spirit was in a state of unconsciousness. Just like today I'm speaking spirit words, so your unconsciousness is time to start going. And because you're here tonight, or you're listening, or you're watching this DVD, I am saying, awake, O avatars of this age, O people, to know that this is the time to awaken your spirits, to open your spirit eyes, to open your spirit ears, to feel and know the truth that I'm speaking is not just words of wisdom and truth, but the truth. And if you look at what the churches say, and it's very basic, they talk about this areas of responsibility before God. And they do it generically. And if you have a look at this family, have kids, educate them, provide for them, church, proclaim the word, good intentional people, disciple adults, provide for the needy, all good, very laudable things. State, administer justice, defense, and infrastructure. The chief responsibility you have to do is to know what you are and be a human being, not a human doing. And the void between responsibility and authority is the ground upon which all evil grows. Because we have been cowards, because we have not been afraid to live for God, we will not be allowed to live. Because if you fear man, you can't fear the Creator God, and if you fear God, you cannot fear man. And you have to know now that only the fearless will take the next stage. Only those who seek the Most High will even draw breath. If you look at the Mayan calendar, you see these cycles. Yes, the Mayans understood this, and they had a society that in many ways is very evil, but they did have an intuitiveness, just like many of their priests that take things like ayahuasca and DMT. But you have to understand, when they open these gates as if children walking into a mortuary, they see horrific things and they don't understand it. They see the universe is cyclical. Yes, it is. But it's not deterministic. We can choose our future. We can choose to have a world with peace, a world without disease, a world without want, a world without pollution and dead whales, a world where we as higher beings will literally hear the songs of the whales with our own entity. With our minds can communicate with the living things that we grow. We can start to become what we really are, which is a gardener not just of our garden here on earth, the Eden that we were given, but a gardener of the galaxy. Because that's what we're called to be. We're called to be the gardeners of the galaxy. And if we look at the real challenge, the spirit worlds of wisdom are hyperdimensional light. So what I'm speaking tonight, and you can probably feel it, if any of you is an intuitive, you can feel a bell, I call it a spiritual bell ring, and you can feel vibrations. Those are coming from me. Because the Most High is saying, you are a servant of the Most High, and you'll speak those words of truth, and that vibration, that bell will ring in your spirit, and if the others have the spirit of wanting the truth, they, like a harmonic bell, will ring to it as well. So if you go into, say, a Buddhist monastery or a place where they have bells or they have the wheels, you'll notice that there's a part of you that just vibrates. And I'm hoping tonight you hear the bell that the Lord is ringing in me, the Most High, that He'll ring it in you, because our world is dying. Our people are dying. And they're about to put us in electronic cages, to put in underground prisons, to destroy us, to eat us, to consume us, to genetically modify us, to crush us, and to cut us off from the nature of what we are as a wonderful and a glorious being made as a ruler, not a servant, a ruler of the universe. That's what we're facing. How can we meet it? You have to understand the nature of what we are to remove the fear. He who knows the Most High cannot fear any other life or ife. You can't fear if you know what you are. Because all that happens if I die tonight, I just go home. I can't be killed. I cannot be killed. And Moses understood it. Here you have one of your Hollywood stars. All the prophets of all the religions had portions of the truth with mixture. The mixture always came with the people who took the religious truths from those avatars and twisted them to turn them into political or religious institutions to subjugate people and steal their identity. Moses was the first to understand the revelation that all mankind was supposed to be children of the Most High. He could see forward, as a prophet, the coming of the Messiah, Hamashiach, the avatar Pisces. Well, I come today to speak to you as the announcer that was prophesied in the first century to my family in Lebanon, in the area of the ancient tribes of Aaron, that our family was told that one would come. His name was the Shadrach Hadrach, the Blessed One, who would say, yes, there will be a Messiah come, but when he comes, he will be looking at Messiahs, us. And if you don't understand that, our world will die. Our world will die because we don't hold sacred the little children that are dying of depleted uranium in Lebanon, or the children and people that are dying of infection and pestilence in these other countries that we plan on irradiating with nuclear weapons in Iran, or the people in Kosovo and these other countries that we have no conception for, or the fact that the flight paths of British Airlines are spraying weaponized avian flu over China, directly over the flight paths, and that's where all the hot spots are for these bioweaponized avian flu that these monster scientists have made to weaponize and attack China. And if they don't think the Chinese, and I know this is a fact, have weaponized strains that will wipe out all white males, W-A-R-S, white, Anglo-Saxon, rich, scum, I can guarantee you they do. And the same thing happened in ancient Atlantis and Lemuria. Who starts it first and who finishes it? Is there a winner? No. As one person told me a long time ago, the war between the Israelis and the Jews will end when there's only one Jew and one Israeli left. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. It's insane. Emmanuel was God with us, was the first fruits. Did the early Christian church understand what Yahushua HaMashiach meant? Why is this important, understanding scalar technology? It's important because we don't know what we are, we don't know where we're going. As I've always said on my radio program, and I tell them that's why it's called the Nutramedical Show, liberating one neuron at a time, and clay and iron, if you don't understand what you are, if we truly knew what we were, we would never do what we're doing. All roads do lead to Rome. All kings and rulers are subject to the Jesuit general, the Black Pope. Zionism is just an apostate arm of the Babylonian Talmudic Satanism subject to the Vatican. Spiritual dark lords of blood and sexual sacrifice are identical with the IFES, the identified fiendish entities. And they exist in the astral planes and in the physical. You can't imagine the horror of knowing what I know. And I won't tell you the full extent, or you'll just be bawling and crying if you knew what I knew. But I can face it because God has made me strong enough to stand before you today knowing that if I die tonight, even though I have a loving family, I will have served the Most High God, and I will have served my fellow man, because this is the end of our age. There's no future left if we don't fight this.